Picture a mid-sized commercial construction project in the heart of a growing city. The sun is just beginning to warm the morning air. Workers are arriving with their coffee and lunch boxes, ready for another day of building something that will stand for decades. The project is on schedule, morale is good, and everything seems routine. Our story focuses on a formwork operation on the third floor of what will eventually become an office building. The crew has been working together for several weeks. They know each other, they trust each other, and they've developed a rhythm that makes the work flow smoothly. But today, that rhythm is about to be interrupted by a series of small decisions that, when combined, create a perfect storm of risk. Second one, the morning rush. The day starts with time pressure. The concrete pour is scheduled for early afternoon, and the formwork needs to be completely ready. The site supervisor mentions during the morning briefing that they were slightly behind schedule from yesterday's rain delay. Nobody says it explicitly, but everyone feels it. We need to move a little faster today. This is where our first factor enters the equation. Time pressure is one of the most significant contributors to workplace incidents. When we feel rushed, our brains shift into a different mode. We start taking shortcuts, not because we're careless, but because we're trying to meet expectations. We skip the double check. We assume something is fine without verifying it. We tell ourselves, just this once, it'll be okay. Seconds 2 and 3. The equipment check that wasn't one of the workers, let's call him Mike, is tasked with securing a large formwork panel. The proper procedure requires inspecting the lifting equipment, checking the load rating, ensuring all connections are tight, and confirming that everyone in the area is aware of the lift. This process typically takes about 3 minutes. But Mike is thinking about that schedule. He did this same operation yesterday, and the equipment was fine then. He makes a quick visual scan. Everything looks okay. The clips appear to be in place. The straps look undamaged from a distance. He decides to proceed without the full inspection checklist. This is our second factor, normalization of risk. When we do something repeatedly without incident, our perception of danger diminishes. Yesterday's success becomes today's assumption. We forget that equipment experiences stress with every use, that connections can loosen. And that what happens gradually until suddenly it doesn't. Seconds 4 and 5. The communication gap as Mike prepares to signal the crane operator. Another crew member, Sarah, is moving materials across the floor. In a properly coordinated operation, there would be a designated signal person whose only job is to maintain clear communication between the ground crew and the crane operator. But on this morning, with everyone feeling the time crunch, roles have become blurred. Mike assumes Sarah knows he's about to begin the lift. Sarah assumes Mike will wait until she clears the area. The crane operator assumes someone has established a safe work zone. 3 people, 3 assumptions, 0 confirmation. Nobody is being negligent in the traditional sense. They're all experienced professionals. But the system that should protect them, clear communication protocols, has been informally suspended in the interest of efficiency. This represents our third factor, communication breakdown. Construction sites are inherently noisy, visually complex environments where multiple operations happen simultaneously. Effective communication isn't just helpful, it's the invisible safety net that catches problems before they become incidents. Seconds 6 through 8. The cascade begins. Mike signals for the lift. The crane operator engages the hoist. The formwork panel, weighing several hundred pounds, begins to rise. For the first 2 seconds, everything seems normal. The panel lifts smoothly, rotating slightly as it clears the staging area. Then, at second 7, one of the lifting clips the one Mike didn't inspect took close begins to slip. The clip had been gradually loosening over several days of use. Yesterday it held, but today, with the weight distribution slightly different and the metal fatigued by countless previous lifts, it reaches its failure point. The panel tilts. Mike sees it immediately and shouts a warning. Sarah, who is closer than anyone realized, looks up. The crane operator, responding to Mike's signal, stops the hoist. Everyone is doing exactly what their training taught them to do in an emergency. But physics doesn't care about training. The momentum is already in motion. Seconds 9 and 10. When training saves lives, here's where our story takes a crucial turn. Despite all the factors that went wrong, the time pressure, the incomplete inspection, the communication gaps, there was one thing this crew got absolutely right. They wore their personal protective equipment. Sarah, who found herself in the danger zone, was wearing her hard hat, safety vest, and steel-toed boots when the panel swing brought it closer than it should have been, and when loose materials were displaced by the sudden movement, her PPE provided the critical margin of safety. Mike's immediate warning gave her the fraction of a second needed to move to a safer position. The crane operator's quick response prevented the situation from escalating further. The panel was secured, though it required emergency protocols to do so safely. The operation was stopped. The site supervisor was notified. An incident report was filed. Most importantly, everyone went home that day. The lessons we must never forget. So what really went wrong in those 10 seconds? The answer isn't simple, and that's the point. Workplace incidents are rarely caused by a single catastrophic failure. Instead, they result from multiple small failures lining up like dominoes, each one making the next more likely. The time pressure created urgency. The urgency led to skipped procedures. The skipped procedures meant undetected equipment wear. The informal communication created assumptions. The assumptions put someone in the wrong place at the wrong time. Each factor alone might have been manageable, but together they created genuine risk. The construction industry has learned these lessons through decades of experience and, unfortunately, through incidents far more serious than this one. Modern safety protocols exist because each requirement represents a problem someone, somewhere encountered. When we view safety checklists as bureaucratic obstacles rather than accumulated wisdom, we're forgetting history's hard-earned lessons. Prevention starts before the workday begins. Real safety culture isn't about punishment or blame. It's about creating an environment where stopping work to address a concern is praised, not penalized. It's about ensuring that scheduled pressure never supersedes safety protocols. It is about understanding that the few minutes spent on a proper equipment inspection could prevent hours of incident, investigation, and, more importantly, could prevent someone from being hurt. Every construction worker should feel empowered to say, "Wait, something isn't right," without fear of negative consequences. Every supervisor should reinforce that message consistently. Every company should measure success not just by projects completed on time, but by projects completed safely. The 10 seconds we examine today represent a moment when multiple safeguards failed, but the ultimate safety, net proper training, and PPE held firm. Not every incident ends this way. Some have tragic consequences that rippled through families, companies, and communities for years. Your role in prevention, whether you work in construction or any other field, the principles remain the same. Slow down when you feel rushed. Complete the checklist every time. Communicate clearly and confirm understanding. Maintain your equipment. Wear your safety gear. Speak up when something seems wrong. These aren't just rules. They're the collective wisdom of everyone who came before us, including those who learned these lessons the hardest way possible. Honor their experience by making different choices. Remember, It only takes 10 seconds for everything to change. Make sure those 10 seconds count for safety, not against it.